Please note that the following video might contain graphic material of injuries and/or murders or descriptions thereof and may be upsetting to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Farm attacks and murders in South Africa, January 2024. It's always good to report on better news than bad news, and the case as such for January, with the total number of attacks on farms in South Africa only being 7 with no loss of life due to murders. There were also one attack that was averted mid-attack, and we'll discuss that in a moment. Even the Kruger's or the Kameeldrift West area, the community policing forum there reported that it's been particularly quiet, and other than the 2 cases where people were physically affected, no other cases were reported other than the normal cutting of wires here and cutting of wires there. The statistics gathered by Witkrys compares well to the statistics of one of our counterparts, the Rome Research Institute, and we're matching line by line without any discrepancies the statistics that they gathered. There's some feedback on the previous case. Koen van der Walt, who was murdered on the 24th of December last year, the suspect has been caught, and there's enough evidence that's pointing the suspect to the murder, and there was a hearing this morning on the 13th of February, and we have as such to as yet to get any feedback from that. We're going to continue with the attacks, and I've also, like last time, attached maps for the areas to give people abroad a better understanding of where in South Africa these attacks took place. The first area that we're going to discuss is the Gauteng area. This is in the central parts of South Africa, and Gauteng also includes 2 major cities, Pretoria and Johannesburg. Johannesburg also being where the OR Tambo airport is. And you will see on the north of this map there's a blue area, the city of Tshwane. That's where the 2 attacks that we're going to discuss took place. And for those 2 attacks, 4 victims were affected that we know of, and you will see why I'm saying that in a minute. The first case is for January the 3rd, 2024. That's in the Kameeldrift West area, and that's why I say it's the true number of people that was affected in these 2 attacks in this area is a bit hard to pinpoint. Because in the first case, it only says the report that reached me only said that it was an unknown number of occupants in the house. They were held at gunpoint by perpetrators, and they were robbed of cash and cell phones. The perpetrators managed to escape the community policing forum before they arrived. The following case is a bit more serious. That was on January 6, 2024. Peter and Stephanie Venter, both 34, and their 13-year-old son were attacked by perpetrators who broke down the security gate. All 3 of them sustained serious stab wounds and were admitted to hospital. Several electronic devices and clothes were stolen in this case. The next area is the Northwest Province, which is sort of adjacent to the Gauteng Province, and there were only 1 attack there. That gives you an idea of where the Northwest Province is. This attack occurred on the 10th of January 2024 in the Brits area. Now, if you look at where Kameeldrift is, it's virtually just down the road from Kameeldrift over the Magaliesberg Mountains, and then you're in the Brits area. It was on the farm Bokfontein, which is just the other side of the Hartbeespoort Dam. A woman was attacked on this farm, and after the attack started, she fled to her bedroom and she retrieved a firearm. The 2 suspects that was following her down the passage they promptly ran into a hail of bullets and they were gunned down. They were dead on scene. A third attacker fled, funny enough, with a firearm. How that happened, nobody knows. But the police and security companies were on scene almost immediately. Now you ask me why this would happen. Why would they not be on scene when the attack is actually taking place? In a lot of instances, the intelligence reports that reaches the police or alerts authorities is as such that you can have an idea of which area an attack might take place, but it will not be easy to say it's going to be that specific farm. There are indicators that says this farm will be attacked at that and that point, which is fairly accurate, but it's not always the case. Not everybody can read these indicators sufficiently to pinpoint the next attack on a specific farm. Another aspect that is worth mentioning is that the SAPS in the Northwest Province are still very jacked up. They are very diligent in following up on cases, supporting the community. A lot of the stock theft cases in this area is solved with the community policing forum in conjunction with the police, and the police are really serious about following up on these crimes. We're going to travel south towards the Free State province, where there was one attack. The province is the most central in South Africa, and the capital of this province is Bloemfontein. Just outside this province, on the western side, is the town or city of Kimberley, and the Free State is mostly part of the Mielebelt up north, and in the southern half some game farms and some cattle farming. On the 22nd of January 2024, in the Heilbron area, a perpetrator broke through a window, and in his attempt to clear glass from the window with a panga, this alerted the occupants, and they activated the farm watch. Now, if you bring a panga to a party, then your intent is clear, not to just break in and steal what you can, but also to hurt the occupants. One responder was on scene quickly, and he was slightly injured when he confronted the perpetrator, and the perpetrator was eventually neutralized and handed over to the police. This serves as a warning that if you're the first and only responder to a serious situation, not to start acting, but to rather wait for backup so that the quality of life is ensured in such a situation. From the Free State province, we're traveling south to the Eastern Cape province, where one attack included 2 victims. This area is to the southwest of South Africa, and the capital there is Port Elizabeth, and there's also another major port there, the town of East London. On the 26th of January, an elderly couple was attacked in the area of Gauteng with a knopkerrie by a single perpetrator. He demanded money, and after finding nothing, the perpetrator fled, and help was summoned. Minor wounds were treated on the scene, and K9 and police were called in because the area is quite densely forested, and they had to bring in dogs to search for the perpetrator. We are not sure whether this individual was caught and brought to justice or not. That information has not been delivered to us yet. We're traveling west to the Western Cape, and more particular to the town of George, or the area of the town of George. There were one attack there, and 4 victims were affected. January 16, 2024, Hans Moeskraal in the George area. The attack took place around 1:30 in the morning, when the first victim, a 63-year-old female, woke up to being assaulted with a crowbar. Her husband woke up next to her in bed with this commotion, and the next moment he found himself being assaulted with this crowbar as well, and he was also repeatedly stabbed with a sharp object. The third victim Uh, went down the passage, and the third victim was dragged out of her bed and thrown on the floor. When she landed on the floor, she was repeatedly kicked and assaulted with the same crowbar. And in the process of her falling on the floor out of the bed, she broke her hip. The fourth victim was an 88-year-old male. He was a visitor from overseas. He was taken last and was assaulted repeatedly on his arms and his face. After the attack, all four victims were restrained in the master bedroom, while the perps took their time ransacking the house for money and valuables. They fled with a VW Amarok pickup truck, which was later found. Okay, we're heading back north toward the province of Mpumalanga, which is on the eastern side of South Africa. Mpumalanga also houses or is home to the Kruger National Park, and then to the east of Mpumalanga you'll find the country of Mozambique. There was one attack there, and we're going to discuss that quickly. From the Western Cape, we're going to head north toward the province of Mpumalanga, which is also home to the Kruger National Park, and towards the east of that is the country of Mozambique. One of the other features of the province of Mpumalanga is also the forests. There's a lot of forestry activity in that area, and this is where the next case happens. Only one case for Mpumalanga. Let's quickly have a look. On the 7th of January, the foreman of the Makuba Lawn plantation close to the town of Lydenburg returns from leave, and with him several of his personnel. They were surprised by four attackers, but the foreman returned the fire, and he was subsequently wounded in the leg, resulting in the break. It was also assumed that the foreman hit one of the perps, and after that they fled the scene. The foreman was admitted to hospital, and the fleeing attackers were tracked by a K9 unit and the police. Our last case is that of stock theft in the Limpopo province, where on the 24th or 23rd of January, some 38 head of Boran cattle was driven off in the Makopane area, and that concludes. Our final case is in the Limpopo province, and that is a case of stock theft. On the 23rd of January 2024, in the area of Makopane, some 38 head of Boran cattle was driven off. Word was spread, but it was not sure whether this cattle was found back. In a lot of cases like this, cattle like this is slaughtered within a couple of hours of being driven off and stolen from the property where they were taken, and makes it difficult sometimes to find these cattle. But fortunately, most of these cattle are branded, so that makes it easier. And sometimes this branded cattle is found in the possession of people that shouldn't have it, which was the case in the northwest province a couple of weeks ago, where some cattle was found back to the value of almost 200,000 South African rand. So there are successes. There are instances where the farming community is fighting back. It's not always easy, but we're trying. As I've said, it's not always easy. There's a lot of crime in this country, but sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. I'm not going to say we lose, but yeah, we don't always win. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But we love this country, and it's a beautiful country. And I want to thank, in this video, I want to thank the people from abroad that's really supporting South African farmers. People from, and I say it every time, and I can never thank the people enough that's supporting South African farmers and their plight in South Africa. People from the Netherlands, very, very prominent group of people or community there that's supporting South African farmers. Quite recently I met with somebody from Poland. He's spreading the word, and word is going towards Russia and China and Germany. And then also from the Netherlands, it's spreading down to Belgium, it's spreading down to France. There's a lot of people around the world that's realizing what is actually happening to farmers in South Africa. Also the people in the States, thank you very much for your support. We really, really appreciate it.